California firefighters might be catching a break. The winds are starting to die down. This has been a desperate and ongoing clash with those wildfires. And while we have for days covered just the very fundamentals and the caution from experts and government officials about what to do, this is also stoking larger conversations that are much needed about how we got here and what else can be done in the future. Climate change has clearly contributed to the intensity and frequency of these blazes in California and elsewhere, which is something that, while is just a reality according to a lot of available data and your own eyes when you see it, has also caused the usual political debates, a kind of climate denialism against all realities, including realities that are literally affecting people's safety, burning up their homes and neighborhoods. And this was satirized in a MAGA-adjacent film, Don't Look Up, where, in a kind of dystopian reality that seemed a lot like this one, certain politics, certain sort of MAGA reality show efforts were encouraging the public to not look up and see the actual devastation and danger they faced in a kind of climate scenario.
I hear there's something you don't like the looks of.
We discovered a very large comet.
Oh, good for you.
It's headed directly towards Earth.
This comet is what we call a planet killer.
At this exact moment, I say we sit tight and assess.
Sit tight and assess?
Sit tight.
And then assess.
Actor Ron Perlman featured in that film as the star astronaut on a special mission to save the planet against both the danger you see in the film, as well as some of the denialism and idiocy that might get in the way of facing reality. With that in mind, we are joined from Los Angeles by Ron Perlman, star of many films and shows, Hellboy, Sons of Anarchy, his most recent film, Day of the Fight, featuring Michael Pitt and Joe Pesci. Your Beat debut at a difficult time for many out there. Welcome, Ron.
Thanks for having me, Ari.
Your thoughts first from the film Don't Look Up. You were deeply involved in that from the artistic side to the rollout, and this idea that we can embrace and engage as citizens, as people who consume culture, right, as people who consume the news. What was on your mind with all that and now climate change and the fires?
Don't Look Up was I thought, a magic trick because of the way it threads the needle between how obsessed we are with the perception of things vis-a-vis social media and what's trending and what's hot and what's important and what we need to consume ourselves with, juxtaposed against a world-ending event where, you know, an asteroid is on its way to destroy us all. It was a very, very tough needle to thread. Adam McKay did it artfully and brilliantly. And I think one of the most heartbreaking aspects of what we're going through now with these fires that are of a historic nature is all of the finger pointing and the blaming and the naming and the, you know, coming up with every kind of excuse other than the fact that what we were dealing with on Tuesday night, which is the night when I got an evacuation warning personally because I live in the foothills of the Eaton fire, was something way beyond politics, way beyond what your beliefs are. This was an act of nature that was, the likes of which we'd never seen before. And we're seeing more and more of these year after year after year. So it makes you ask a lot of questions and pointing fingers and putting the blame on people are not going to answer any of those questions. They're much larger than than.
Yeah, they're larger. There are multiple factors, but the most recent summer in California was the hottest in a century. The most recent year for the planet Earth was the third hottest in a century. UCLA researchers have data out this week, covered in the LA Times and elsewhere, that notes global warming contributed at least a quarter, which ain't nothing, to the dryness, which is one of the factors that enabled the fuels to burn more intensely once ignited. Did you find, in being a part of a film that tries to jostle us out of the politics, and whether we look up or face reality, we put the tab on your segment here right now on the screen, says "look up!" exclamation point. Did you find that you learned anything about how people take it and took the film and sort of your almost hero's version of facing reality? How are you going to fix a problem if you don't acknowledge a problem?
Well, you know, what the film did very, very well was it identified all of the special interests that prevent us from actually going at the heart of any matter. And this is what I was unartfully just trying to say a second ago about watching Congress put political implications on what might or might not have led to these fires. What led to these fires was a series of climate conditions that have made one year after another for the last 10 years unrecognizable from anything that we'd ever seen before. I mean, I was shooting a series in Puerto Rico when those two hurricanes came through. That was unprecedented. Watching the Bermuda be completely flattened, that was unprecedented. What we're watching is one unprecedented event after another. And anybody who wants to have a conversation about anything other than the cause of that is displaying a kind of an interest in their own whatever ability to pad their quarterly profits or whatever it is that's preventing us from having a real conversation about how we got here and what we're going to need to do to change it. And I think Adam's movie was a harbinger of a discussion that truly needs to be had. And I'm afraid we're not having the fact that really good neighborhoods, got destroyed and got flattened. Maybe I don't know whether that's going to move the needle or not, but it can't happen here until it does. And when it does, and it has, and it's heartbreaking. And a lot of my friends have lost everything, but we really need to have a bigger conversation than people's special interests.